Biden's tough month looms over Democratic campaigns in 2021. Democrats who were once buoyant that a well-liked President Joe Biden and popular agenda moving through Congress could propel the party to wins in 2021 are now worried that a trying few months for the president and sluggish poll numbers could impact people like Terry McAuliffe, the party's gubernatorial nominee in Virginia, and Phil Murphy, the incumbent governor running for re-election in New Jersey. "If people don't wake up," said a Democratic operative working in Virginia, "we are in trouble. The biggest concern is time." It has been a tough month for Biden and Democrats, Delaware Senator Chris Coons, a Biden ally, said on Sunday. Still, the drama on Capitol Hill is just part of the concerns around Biden. The worries among Democrats eyeing 2021 races began with the chaotic pullout of American troops from Afghanistan, a decision that, while popular with most American voters, was seen as haphazard and mishandled. Those fears continued to grow when 2 straight monthly job reports showed sluggish growth, threatening the party's ability to run on an economy rebounding from the economic devastation wrought by a coronavirus pandemic still ravaging the country.
It is one of the key factors that we are monitoring, a top operative working on governor's races said of Biden's popularity. The environment is one of the major concerns. And it's not just Biden. It is about Democrats looking like they can't get stuff done. The biggest concern for Democrats with eyes on Virginia and New Jersey is how difficult it has been for their party, which narrowly controls both sides of the legislative body in Washington, to pass much at all. And Biden seems to have little urgency, too, telling reporters during the recent negotiations over his 2 spending bills that it doesn't matter whether it's in 6 minutes, 6 days or 6 weeks, we're going to get the bills passed. If Congress is unable to pass anything ahead of this year's elections, the party risks being viewed as unable to govern in power, something voters could hold against Democrats on the ballot in November. The Democratic brand is suffering right now. The concern is more pressing for McAuliffe in Virginia, where key voters are more attuned to the machinations of nearby Washington, D.C., and polls show a tightening race against Republican gubernatorial nominee Glenn Youngkin. The Democratic brand is suffering right now, said the Democratic operative in Virginia. McAuliffe's response to Biden's slumping popularity has been scattered. During the primary, McAuliffe ran fully behind Biden, regularly branding himself as the Biden Democrat in the primary field. But as the general election got underway and Biden's tough stretch began, McAuliffe bluntly looked to distance himself from the president, noting federal headwinds in numerous interviews and making clear that he was dismayed by what was happening in Washington. The clearest attempt at this distance came during a video conference call earlier this month. "The president is unpopular today, unfortunately, here in Virginia, so we have got to plow through," he said on the call with supporters. McAuliffe's strategy, however, has done little to slow tightening polls. A Monmouth University poll released in late September noted that McAuliffe maintains a small lead, taking 48% to Youngkin's 43% among registered voters, similar to their survey in August. A Fox News poll released around the same time found a similar split, with McAuliffe at 48% to Youngkin's 44%. For Democratic candidates like McAuliffe and Murphy, it is impossible to put any distance between your candidacy and the Democratic president. Biden, for example, traveled to Virginia to campaign with McAuliffe in July. By raising concerns about Biden's popularity, McAuliffe could be looking to gain the attention of Democratic voters, hoping the prospect of a struggling Biden helping elect a Republican governor of Virginia will get the party's base more engaged in the race. In an off-year election, it is critical to make sure that your voters know that the election is going to be close, that their vote matters and that the stakes are high, said Josh Schwerin, a political consultant who previously worked for McAuliffe in Virginia. For that reason, it is important to have McAuliffe and his allies out there talking about the election and how close it will be and making sure we don't get complacent. Schwerin added, "It is a state that the president won by 10 points, but it is not the same electorate as when he was on the ballot. And it is important to know that. To boost Democratic engagement, McAuliffe has looked to turn Youngkin into a Trump understudy, regularly using his name and Trump's in the same sentence. "My opponent is a Trump wannabe," McAuliffe regularly says, noting that the former president has endorsed him numerous times and that Youngkin has proudly accepted that endorsement. They have a close relationship. The threat to Murphy in New Jersey is far less significant. Biden won the state in 2020 more comfortably than he did Virginia, and there are more than 1 million more Democrats than Republicans in the Garden State. That means the party is more concerned about the margin, and less about whether Murphy will win re-election. A string of polls has consistently shown Murphy leading former state assemblyman Jack Ciattarelli, the Republican nominee, in the Garden State. A Monmouth poll released in late September found 51% of registered voters supporting Murphy, compared to 38% backing Ciattarelli. Murphy, like other Democrats across the country, has run by pledging to tackle the coronavirus pandemic in a responsible manner and tying Ciattarelli to Trump in a state the former president lost handily. Saying "it's your call" on no masking is akin to supporting drunk driving, Murphy told Ciattarelli at a late September debate. "We can't beat that way." Ciattarelli hit Murphy for his handling of Hurricane Ida and stood by his opposition to vaccine mandates. "Do I believe the government has the right to force you to take a medicine?" Ciattarelli asked rhetorically. "No, I don't." Murphy has also been less open about how Biden is impacting his race, declining to detail the federal headwinds and Biden's slumping poll numbers like McAuliffe has. The governor is not shying away from his close relationship with President Biden and the Biden-Harris administration, said a top Murphy aide. They have a close relationship. The aide added, "We are happy to accept the president's support and campaign with him because he is popular in New Jersey and his agenda very much aligns with the governor."
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe